Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Or seems to be lagging a little bit on Trading View. So if you're on Trading View, drop a message. Let me know that things are working all right. Okay, good. Hey Jamila, how you doing? Hey BL, hey Vel. Vel is always the first one in on YouTube, so very good to see. Kelvin's in the evening. Hope you all have been trading well. We'll give it a couple of minutes before we get started. I only did one quick scalp on the Aussie dollar, as I'll share with you guys on the platform, but nothing much else for today so far. So far. If you are on the session, drop a message, say hi, let me know that you're here. Would love to see you. And if you're new to the session, let me know where you're joining from. I'd love to find out. Alrighty. One more minute, and we shall get started. Just want to double check with you guys. I've got the mic on the table right now. I'm not wearing it. Just want to make sure that the sound is all good. Is it echoey or is it still nice and sharp and clear? Hey Nick, how you doing? Hey Serene, how you doing on YouTube? Thanks for that, Kelvin. Is anyone seeing Jin's broadcast to be slightly fuzzy? Let me see. Um, Maybe it's a little bit dark. Could be a little bit dark, but I'm not sure about the fuzziness. I've turned off most of the other stuff running, so I hopefully it's all good. Maybe do a quick refresh, Val. Good stuff, loud and clear. Yeah, righty. Hey, and if you can, as we get started, do give me the big thumbs up and that little rocket ship button on TradingView. Helps the video get found. Helps the algorithm um, share this video a little bit more. Set the quality to max. Which quality? Quality. I have it as auto right now. It's on auto right now. Is that what it should be? Let's try. Let's try HD. Oh, okay. Well, I've set it to HD on my side, so hopefully it does something for you guys as well. Good morning, Goju. How are you doing? Since yesterday, the video has been a bit fuzzy. I'll get the IT guys to check it out, but I'm terrible at that. So I'll get them to check it out. Maybe it's my camera that's a little bit dirty. Okay, that's why we can see that. Hey Joshua, how are you doing? Good to see you here. Welcome to the session. All right, so let's get started. Again, big welcome and thank you all for joining me on this daily market analysis session where we do this every day, 3 p.m. GMT plus 8, where during this session I share with you my views on the fundamentals, what has happened before since the last time we spoke, what is coming up until the next time we speak. Then we look at the technicals in terms of where price is, how it's reacting, or how it could react to possible resistance levels or support levels or even Fibonacci levels. Then after that, with that combined, we look at some possible trade setups. As much as I can, I'll try to identify the setups and also prioritize the setups for you guys. But remember that it's not always, I can't, as much as I try, I can't predict the market all the time. So it's really the based on the fundamentals and the technicals, right? So with that, always remember that any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Also, please remember that the content of this webinar is not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. So, if you do have any questions at any point in time, trading related questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat. I'll be happy to repeat any points that I covered or explain further. If you are looking at any possible trade setups, do share that with me. I'll be happy to bring that up and give you my views on that. But what I tend to find is that a lot of you bring up very good trade setups, and we kind of align to that as well, right? So it's always good to what we say, have a sounding board, share your views, get a little bit of a maybe an alternate view or a confirmation, right, of your views or your setups. Might give you a little bit more confidence as you approach your trades. So again, remember, no bad setups, right? It's only about timing of whether that setup is going to be valid or not. Okay. Again, if you are new to this session, do drop a message, say hi, let me know you're here, let me know where you're joining from, and for all the regulars, good to have you back. A lot of you making this a habit to join the session already, so I'm really glad about that. If you are, or if you haven't already, do join us on the trading community. The link is there on TradingView, and I've also shared that on YouTube for you guys. It is absolutely free to join. So we can take our discussions beyond this 1 hour session that we're doing here. Through the day, I do share, if there's any sudden news that comes out or any breaking news that comes out, I will share the news and also share any possible viewpoints I have on that. And as I look through, I'm always looking at the charts. I'm always looking at the markets. If I come across any possible trade setups as well, I'll be sharing it on that platform, on the community, because we can only do it for this 1 hour here. All right, so do join the platform, the trading community, if you haven't already. Hey, Angel Case, how are you doing? Oh, it worked. All clear, Jin, on the issue. No worries. It's good to see, good to have it a little bit sharper right now. Okay, so moving on, let's have a quick look of what has happened. And hey, it is a bank holiday in Australia and New Zealand. It is Anzac Day, so to all our Australian and New Zealand viewers, I hope you're having a good Anzac Day, right? Not working, I hope so it comes back to work tomorrow. So I hope you're having a good Anzac Day break for today, lest we forget. Okay. Yesterday, nothing much, no big news happened. As we were discussing, right? Nothing much happened there. So no big surprises apart from overnight where we did see the dollar weaken. Right? We're anticipating for it to trade within this range. I'll move this away for now. Right? We anticipate for it to trade within this range for a possible breakout to the upside. It didn't happen, unfortunately. In fact, what it did was that we saw the dollar break out to the downside from that triangle, breaking the 101.60 support level to trade down. I just applied this Fibonacci level from the bottom here to that top, right? And just so we can see, I changed this a little bit because I was working on something. Put it back. Let me just do that. What was I doing? Hang on a second. Okay, do that. All right, and we just saw price break down from that level, from that trend line. You can see that this was a relatively strong support because price did trade down, bounce back up, It struggled to break for a while. When it finally broke to the downside, it came towards that 61.8 pip retracement level before now bouncing back up. So it did gap down, it covered that gap. So sometimes, or rather the last couple of sessions, someone did ask about what's a gap. That's a gap, right? So it usually happens overnight, not always, but it usually happens overnight, where we see price ending at that 101.32 level. This was at 6 a.m. This morning. And then at 7 a.m., it actually had a big gap down, right? So it opened at 101.26. So only just over a 5 pip move to the downside, but it quickly covered back up. So remember, I was telling you about gaps and how I always see gaps being covered quickly, not taking since the 11th of April, not taking that long to cover, and it was a very small gap there. Okay, so it broke down from 61.8 down and then it covered back up. Right now, pushing back up again. Okay, right now pushing back up, looking like it's going to continue pushing up. So, as a quick update to this 25th, right? DXY not forming the pattern is broken out of the pattern, currently trading at just below 101.50. All right. Before I give you my view of what could happen here, refer back to Forex Factory, where tonight we do have US consumer confidence numbers to be released, and it was 104.2. It's expected 104.1. If you look at the previous, hey, open to my previous data. Okay, I don't know why it doesn't show me my previous data, but it looks like we might see some slight slowdown. I don't think it's going to be a big impact on the price at this point, unless we see it significantly below 104. All right, I think it went down to 101, 101 dot or 102, I think, but now at 104. So, unless we see it back at 102, then we might see that weakening in the dollar. But for now, I think that with that big drop that we saw last night and now that recovery, I do anticipate that we might see the dollar index climb back up towards this 101.60 support turn resistance range. Okay, so I do look for it to come back up. Let me just think. Yep, I think that's fair. So dollar index broke out of it, bouncing off this 101.20 level. I'm possibly looking for upside to 101.60. And beyond that, 101.80. So I do think that we might see it come back up. If it does break 101.60, we might see it come towards that 101.75 range. Okay, so upside to 101.60 and 101.60 to 101.75 price range. Right, so no big news, but it's showing us some recovery, so we're looking for that to potentially push back up to this range, right? Back into the range again. Hey, morning, Jen B. Just checking in. Chaotic day today, probably no trade. All right. Hey, if you're not in the right mindset, if you're not in the right space, yes, probably don't force yourself to have to enter a trade. Hey, I'm trying to figure out how to make this always stay in front. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So that's the view on the dollar. We're possibly looking at some upside potential. If it, you can see it trading down slightly now. If it doesn't hold that upside potential, then 101, 100.84 could be a level. ultimately, I think it depends on how this hour closes. Okay, so I'll update this towards the end of the session, because if this closes somewhat like that, then I think we might see this push up. Right, we might see this push up. However, if it does close down, then it might be a small retrace before turning back down again. Okay, so we'll check back on that. But I am looking for potentially that upside on the dollar index. With that said, then we look at the Kiwi dollar. Okay, looking at the Kiwi dollar, we were looking for this to climb up to test that 0.6170 resistance level and then potentially turn down. I would say that, I think, or rather distinctly, I remember that we're talking about this yesterday where there was no big news happening. We might see not much liquidity and volatility until today, which is Tuesday, or tomorrow, Wednesday. So we were a little bit early to the setup, and it shows here, right? So it came down a little bit, but it still went back up. Wouldn't have, although it shows that we should have triggered a trade, it wasn't a strong break or strong reversal to the downside. At this point, though, if I move this a little bit to this side, okay, at this point, though, it's a clear or relatively a developing setup where we see price testing and now looking like a rejection to push to the downside. Okay, anticipating that dollar strength as well. This could be a attractive trade here on the Kiwi dollar. I'll be a bit safer and say 0.6160. Okay, 0.6160. Stop loss 25 pips. Take profit. I would love to say 60. No, I would say 66 or even 70 pips to the downside. And then I'll take this away for now. And then we'll have a hesitation level at 6125. Okay, so this again is not a counter trend trade, because you can see that the take this away because it's not relevant. You can see that the Kiwi dollar has been pushing down, bouncing, pushing down again, bouncing, pushing down. We're seeing that continual trend to the downside. So I'm looking for this to continue down, and you could even say that there is a bit of a trend line pushing price lower. All right, so that's the view for the Kiwi dollar. I'll keep that there. All right, so at 0.6160, a 25 pip stop loss and a 70 pip take profit there. 6160, 25 pip stop loss, a 70 pip take profit, hesitation at about the 6125 level, at the 0.6125 level. Okay. Hey Jamil, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey M Leader, good to have you on board. My first entry in gold, now in buy directions. Okay, I'll check gold shortly. All right, so this looks like it's pushing up. So we're looking for the dollar to push up. That's going to form quite nicely. It could be something to look at the close of the hour. With that, then the Aussie we were talking about is forming up very nicely. I was telling you all that I shared this on our trading community where it tested and it rejected. Move this a little bit to the side, it's blocking my view. I did jump into a trade, I think at about 0.6690. I had a quick trade to the downside, about that 20 pips move. I think about just slightly less than 20 pips, and I closed out. I was working on something else. Okay, so that was a good trade down. Right now, how many of you jumped onto that Aussie dollar trade? Do let me know. Let me know if you got onto Aussie dollar. I like how it's showing quite strong quite a strong push to the downside. But what I would be very wary of is that I'll take this, I'll push this up just to make it a bit more relevant. Is that it is approaching that 6660 level, or the equal low level, 6665. Right? I wouldn't do anything. If it breaks below 6665, then we could see it trade down to 6625. A 40 pip move to the downside. Okay, which also could be quite quick. So what you'll be looking for here is a sell at about below 6660. Take profit about 30 pips. Because of that trending scenario, I would say stop loss will be quite tight. Could be quite tight, about 15 to 20 pips to the downside. Okay, so I would be looking for that. No trend lines, nothing else to add to that. Just a continuation of that downside there on the Aussie dollar. If you did get into that trade, you would be very close. I deleted it already, but you'd be very close to the take profit. Right now, we're looking for it to break below 6665 to sell down towards 6625. Okay, it could happen very quickly. Sell below 0.6665. Stop loss about 20 pips. Take profit about 30 pips towards 6625. Stop loss, take profit about 30 pips. There we go. That's a relatively small trade. Also because it is coming to a very key level that we saw a very big bounce. Beyond 6625, we'll be approaching the range of what we saw in March at 6567. Okay, so it doesn't have to end there. Okay, it doesn't have to end there. If, for example, you got in and it went down to that, you would have closed out. You could look for it to break below that support. If it does break below that support, then you could be looking for further downside towards 6567. But for now, I'll be a bit more careful. Also because as much as we are on a Aussie bank holiday, New Zealand bank holiday right now, we're showing that downward pressure. We're also looking at CPI to be released in Australia tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. GMT +8. And you see that CPI was 6.8%, expected 6.5%. Since March, it has been on a downward decline from 8.4 to 7.4, 7.4 to 6.8. So we're looking for this to break, maybe 6.5. I would say that we could even see a 6.2, 6.1, 6.2, and that downward drop, further downside, 29th of March. If we went back, we found the 29th of March. Let me find it. 29th of March at this time. You can see that the last time we had this news release right there at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., right? The Aussie dollar dropped, recovered a little bit before a further downside. Okay, so what I'm anticipating for the news tomorrow is also, for now we might see it drop, we might see it bounce a little bit before dropping down through tomorrow's news release. Okay, insightful views. I'm on Euro sell. Good. We will identify a possible reversal on the euro dollar, so I'm good here on that. Digital businesses, can the trade ideas be shared on the community? Yes, we do as much as I can. When I'm watching as it happens, I will share it in the community, but it is here on the stream. It is here on YouTube, so you can always catch a quick replay as well. All right, I'll try to publish the ideas on TradingView after the session, but I do a whole bunch of other things after the session as well. So tend to be a little bit pressed for time. Okay, so that's the Aussie. I am looking at this as a possible sell below this stop loss level. TP could test key support at 6567. Support at 0.6567. Okay, there we go. Okay, so with that, then the yen. All right, yen. It's taken the mental away from, well, half taken the mental away from the pound because it broke out of this triangle. Looked like it was pushing to the upside, but then it retraced back down, right? Because of that dollar weakness overnight, we saw yen push back down. But good thing is that it is still, take this away, it is still holding above this trend line. Okay, with the way the dollar is strengthening now, right? With the way the dollar is strengthening now, we're not seeing an impact on it on the yen yet, but if this level holds, we might actually see the yen come down, test. We might actually see this test, and then we might see a break to the upside. Here we might see this break to the upside. With the way it reversed at this 134.62 level, I would say that if you were waiting for a safer place to buy and say, like, if it broke above this level, then you would buy, it's a very small trade. It's a very small trade, it's about 35. I would possibly be considering when it comes down, if it comes down and tests and it rejects, maybe even a long position at this trend line. So at about 134.15, 134.16. Okay, stop loss maybe about 20 pips. Take profit could be about 80 pips. And then we could close out halfway, depending on how the price action develops. Okay, so so it has to stay above this trend line. If it breaks that trend line, then I think it will be a further downside towards that 133 support level. But you can see that since last Friday, it tested, bounced, came close, bounced. I'm looking for this to bounce off this trend line and push up. Okay, if it doesn't come low enough to bounce off, or it starts reversing from here, which looks like it might be, then I would say don't rush into a trade on the yen. Look to see what happens at 135. Okay, so I would say about 134.15, 20 pip stop loss, 80 pip take profit. I will look at USD CHF, Jamila, so hang on there. 134.15, stop loss 20 pips, TP 80 pips to the key resistance of 135. Okay, I like how the dollar is reacting right now, which is causing us to. I'm watching the price change here, so I'm anticipating this move on the Aussie and also on the Kiwi. Kiwi looks like it's coming close, 30 minutes to the candle close. So this might trigger. I would prefer the Kiwi dollar compared to the Aussie just because of this points here. Might test a little bit and bounce. Kiwi dollar is a better rejection of that trend line and that resistance level. Okay. And now look at the pound and dollar. We're looking for this to trade within this range. came up to that 61.8, broke a little bit to the upside, didn't trade higher. It's actually reversing back down because of that dollar strength. So again, anticipating that dollar strength. Oh, BL likes the Aussie more. Okay, I like the Kiwi more. All right. Either way, I think that we could see it move in tandem. Pound dollar, if it does close something like this, and anticipating that dollar strength, then we could be looking. I want this to retrace a little bit. Okay, then you could be looking at a 30 pip stop loss and about a 60 pip take profit towards the support level at 1.24. I think that's a fair. If the candle closes like that, I'll be happy to jump into a trade already. All right, if the candle closes like that, I'll be happy to jump into a trade. 1.2464 to 30 pip to 60 pip. Okay, sell below 1.2464, stop loss 30, take profit 60. You see, I have a little bit of a wider stop loss on the pound dollar just because of how choppy it is, as as it has been recently. AL, I definitely have time on the for the Euro Aussie. We'll get to that later on. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. That's a dream move. I didn't get into, I was selling the Aussie down, so I didn't get into the euro dollar trade this morning. But this move was a dream, almost like a dream come true. Where yesterday we were talking about this, breaking that resistance, testing that trend line again before pushing up towards take profit. Okay, Insightful Views was selling the euro dollar down. I guess I'm very sure you'll be making money now, right? So as it pushes down, let me just check. Is there any big news? No news at this point. I'm just checking, wondering why it's moving so much at this point in time. All right, and then this morning as I was happy about this move to the upside, we signaled out to the. Which trade were you in, Diana? Um, what was I going to say? I signaled out in the community that with this forming, you could be looking to sell the euro down, especially there you go, the double candlestick pattern where we have that tweezer top, right? A tweezer top pattern where it shows price testing higher, failing to close strongly, and then testing higher, and then that pin bar. So a tweezer top pattern there indicating a reversal quite close to that 1.1070 level, and then pushing down. So very good for Diana, who did got into the euro buy. I hope you're out of that trade already. Right now, possibly looking for, you see that trade back, that big trade to the downside. I'll take this away because it's not as relevant. Oh, we were looking at that pennant as well, or flag. It's a little bit late to enter right now. Let me just do this again just to check. It's a little bit too late to enter right now for that reversal. What you could be looking for is, let me see, that 23.6 to close, and then towards this point 50. Okay, so let's look at that. Take that away, take that away, take this away for now, and this. Okay, so that's the push up on the euro dollar right now, retracing, looking like it's going to close below 23.6. You could be looking to sell down. It's a little bit in the middle, so it's a little bit of a late entry, a little bit of a challenge, all right? I would say a 30 pip stop loss. I'll go down to I'll go down to that support level, resistance turn support level of 1.0970 for about a 60 pip move, and then you got a bit of hesitation at that 1.10. Okay, so hesitation at about 20 pips, 25 pips. If it breaks that, then we could see it trade down towards that support level of 1.0970. Okay, when will I start the challenge? Probably next week. I'll start another challenge probably next week. This week is just a bit all over, a bit busy with other plans. So let me see. Let me gather my thoughts again. 1.1030, stop loss 30 pips, take profit 60 pips. Okay. So well done to Diana who got onto this trade. 1.1030, stop loss 30, TP 60. I think either JMB or Angel Case was saying that you're looking to do a reversal on the euro dollar as well. You're talking about. So I hope you did get into that, because if you did, you'd be making money there. Okay, so that's the euro dollar to the downside, looking for that continual push. Kiwi forming up nicely, Aussie breaking that support, yen still not doing too much, looking for it to bounce. So why is the yen pushing down despite the dollar strength? What I think is that you can see the Aussie dollar dropping, which is and the euro dollar dropping. So we're most likely going to see the euro yen dropping strongly, the Aussie yen dropping strongly as well, pound yen dropping strongly as well. So if given that these are all dropping because of that Aussie euro and pound dollar dropping, we see it influencing the US yen to drag lower. All right, so I'm still looking for it to drag lower, for it to bounce off this level, for that dollar strength to come back into play and possibly push price back up. Geo was a good setup too, but missed it. Hey, sometimes you will miss setups. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Euro dollar forming very nicely. Wait for the hour to close. Right. Wait for the hour to close. USD CHF. Yesterday we were talking about this trade to the downside, testing 8870. You can see it. We were talking about this yesterday at this point with that triangle pushing bearish triangle to the downside. It did come all the way to 8870, slightly lower 8868, and then now pushing back up. Okay. Looking at the way price reacted here, I think that we could see this push back up. All right, so I'll take these away for now. We could see price push back up, but it does need to break above 23.6 or that 8897 or 8900 level first. Okay, similar here. You can see that it tested and then retrace and then push back up. So dollar strength should push the USD CHF up, but it does need to break above 0.89 before we're going to see that upside. 0.89, take profit, maybe 50 pips. Stop loss, I would say 30 pips or just 40 pips. Right, a very safe stop loss would be 40 pips. A little bit narrower, you could even be going for 20 to 25 pips for that reversal on the USD CHF. Okay, it doesn't show like it's going to reverse now. We're waiting for that dollar strength to show through, so it might be a little bit later on. I think that because it is a bit of a counter trend trade, 0.89, I think we could go for a little bit of a tighter stop loss because it's counter trend. Not worth taking that big risk on that. So USD CHF above that 23.6 fib level at 0.89. Buy above 0.89, 20 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit. Okay, where is it? Buy above 0.89, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 50 pips. Is that CAD yen or CJ? Is that CAD yen or is that Swiss yen? I don't think anyone trades Swiss yen, but yeah, let me know. CAD yen. CAD yen. CAD yen looks for a good sell. Yes. Just be extra careful there. It does need to break below 9870. Needs to close below 9870 to be even safer. I would say 9850 before we're going to see um, a big push to the downside. All right, so CAD yen, yes, but it is could be forming a bit of a double bottom, so just be extra careful there. Also, with that, we look into the CAD. That counter trend we were considering did not form, so it came down, bounced off, and now broke to the upside, pushing higher. Why is it pushing higher? Because of that dollar strength, right? Because of that dollar strength. So, which actually puts this whole CAD yen thing into perspective. Because if the CAD is getting stronger, we should see this push up, right? So just be extra careful there, right? I might prefer um, the pound yen or the euro yen. I might prefer the euro yen more than the CAD yen because you see the US CAD or the loonie is pushing to the upside. I do think that we might, given that it closes like that, we might see this climb towards that level of, I would say a more significant level would be at about 1.3650. Okay, so if it closes somewhat like that at 1.3580, then you could be looking for a buying opportunity up 60 pips, stop loss maybe about 30 pips just below that resistance or just at that resistance level, resistance turned support level for that upside potential. Okay, and then we can see this forming as well. That trend line forming that support to the upside. So CAD yen 1.3585, 30 pip stop loss, 60 pip take profit. By the way, I hope I answered your question there, Jamila, about the USD CHF. So no counter trend on the USD CAD. We're looking for this to buy 1.3585. Where 1.3585 stop loss about 30 pips, take profit about 60 pips. All right. Okay, cool. Next up, we're looking at the pound yen by 167.30. That actually worked out quite nicely. I just saw. All right, 167.30. It bounced up and straight towards that take profit. Do let me know if you got into that trade. Right now, it is tracking back down, double top. Look at that. Where's my drawing tool? A double top formation at that key resistance of 168 along that 168 price area. Now pushing to the downside. So I would say that we could see it. I don't think it's going to come all the way down. I don't think it's going to come all the way down. If it closes like this, it'll come down to the support. Okay, so what I'm anticipating here for the pound yen is that it's too late. It would be too late to get into a trade. Could see this come down here and then bounce back up. Right? Why I think it bounce back up is really because of that dollar strength pushing up. I would be looking to see whether the yen pushes back up, which is happening a little bit now, which would probably drag the pound yen up, right? So it depends on how the pound dollar is going to move, depends on how the yen is going to move. We could see that reversal on the pound yen, but because of that double top formation, I think we might see it come down, test the support at 166.60 level before bouncing back up. Okay, so pound yen, I would say probably a bit too late. Too late to sell. Look for reaction at a 166.60. At 166.60. And there we go. All right. Okay. I'll do gold, and then I'll answer a whose question? I'll answer AL's question on the Euro Aussie. Gold. Oh, Jamil's on gold in buying. Well, see, yesterday we were talking about this coming up to test 2000, right? So yesterday we said it could test 2000 round number resistance. It went up, hit 2000, now showing that rejection. Unfortunately, at this point, I think that we could see this, like I was telling you all yesterday, or through last week as well, is that I don't see gold forming new big highs anymore. It does look like it's holding that 2000 level. Is a starting to form as a good strong resistance, might trade down towards that level. Okay, so I see gold possibly trading down towards this 1980 trend line, the trend line, and around that 1980 support level. Yeah, I think it's going to do a bit of that. It's going to bounce around these levels like that before a possible breakout. Okay, so might trade down, but still within this range between 1980 and 2000. Okay, so gold, good stuff. Gold likely to maintain between 1980 and 2000. Morning, Zion V257. You're most welcome there, Jamila. Jamil, I hope I gave I hope you see my point of view on gold. Not sure about where you got into gold, where you are buying it up, but might see some downside before a retrace. Oh, good, good. Already booked 20 pips. Very good. Okay, so good move there. With that. Okay, cool. And if you guys, for whoever's viewing right now, it sounds I don't even know who's watching. I would love to get a name list of who's watching. But if you're watching, do make sure that you join the trading community. The links are there. Okay, and then now we look at Euro Aussie. Right, so it didn't retrace as much as we thought to come up towards that 1.6574 or 75 resistance level. But it's moving as planned. I remember this was major highs. Right, we're approaching that level that we visited in October 2020. The next big level is about there, which is 1.646844. With the way momentum is pushing, I do think that see that Aussie weakness is in play, right? Aussie dollar is pushing down, so could drive the Euro Aussie up. The Euro dollar is also in play. Hey, looks like, just bear in mind, guys, it does look like we have a lot of trade setups which could be triggered at this hour. Don't jump into all the trades. Or if you do, make sure you size accordingly, size appropriately, because it all looks like that's trading. That might be a little bit late already. Aussie dollar is forming up nicely. US yen is waiting. It's retracing back up now. Pound dollar maybe at the close of the hour. Euro dollar is coming very close as well. USD to HF is later. US CAD is maybe 1 hour later. So we have Aussie, Kiwi, Pound, and Euro, which are all looking like quite a good setup as a retrace. Music Jack Guru, we are not buying. We're not buying the euro. We were actually looking. We bought the euro up. Now we're looking at a possible counter trend. Thanks, Diana. How long did it take to transition from your normal job to full time? I took the plunge. I did part time trading for about a year or 2 years, and then I just jumped in 2 feet into the deep end. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, but that's what I did. Okay, so looking at the Euro Aussie, does need to break above. Oh, that's a big space there. 1.6580. I don't like such a big space. Let me see. You could be looking at about 1.6670 as well. Okay, so it's still a big space. It's still a relatively big space, but if that closes and the Aussie dollar still shows that downside potential, could be looking for a continuation. It does look like it's slightly overextended to the upside. 80 pip take profit, stop loss, 30 pips on the Euro Aussie for that continuation to the upside. Why I say is a bit of an overextension. Seen pretty much almost like a straight line to the upside. I'm wary, or rather, I'm anticipating some form of a retracement. You do need some retracement for a trend to remain strong. So I'm just watching what happens here at 1.6575. If it does break, we might see that resistance of 1.6670, but could see a big reversal from that point there. All right, love it, fantastic. Okay, so wow, I covered quite a bit quite quickly. If you haven't already, guys, do click on that rocket ship button on TradingView and also on YouTube to click that thumbs up button for me. Helps with the algorithm. A lot of you watching, not many of you clicking. So, let's keep this interactive. Click away. All right. So with that, any further questions? My other entry in gold sell direction, very good. I do think that we might see that push, right? But just be careful. It's unlikely to be a big level, a big push to the downside. Might happen, but more likely we're going to see it choppy between this range. Thank you. Most appreciate that, Diana. I do enjoy sharing the fundamental view. I realize not a lot of people share the fundamentals, so I do enjoy that. I'm glad it's helping with your trades. You're most welcome there, Val. Hey, and if you guys have any feedback, any things that I can do to help you more with your trading journey, do let me know. Drop a comment, or in the community, drop a message, let me know. I'll be happy to take that on board. Okay, so we will be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. GMT plus 8, for the daily market analysis again. Tomorrow, we do have a couple more news, right? After that, or rather, we anticipate a little bit more volatility because after the Aussie news, might see some reaction there. And then as we go through, markets coming back online, I think we might see some liquidity and volatility through tomorrow's session. Thank you, AL. Thank you, Goju. Thank you. So, with that said, trade well, trade safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. And also in the trading community. Take care now. Bye bye. Thanks, BL. Thanks, Jamil. Thanks, M Leader. Have a nice day, you all. Have a profitable day.